A fiddler on the roof. Sounds crazy, no? But here, in our little village of Anatevka, you might say every one of us is a fiddler on the roof, trying to scratch out a pleasant, simple tune without breaking his neck. It isn't easy. You may ask, why do we stay up there if it's so dangerous? Well, we stay because Anatevka is our home. And how do we keep our balance? That I can tell you in one word. Tradition!
Why are most Jews atheists?
David Silverman is the president of the American Atheists. David Silverman, president, American Atheists.
My name is David Silverman. I'm named David Silverman because my parents, they were originally going to name me Jew, but they decided it wasn't Jewish sounding enough, so they called me David Silverman instead.
Day and night must scramble for a living, feed a wife and children, say his daily prayers, and who has the right, as master of the house, to have the final word at home? The Papa, the Papa, tradition, the Papa, tradition.
My mother is Jewish and my father is Catholic. That is the truth. I was raised Catholic formally, although I must say the Jewish mind comes out even in the Catholic system. Give you an example, we used to go into confession, and I would bring a lawyer in with me. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. I think you know Mr. Cohen.
Oh, Bill, you're such a meanie. Why do you have to go after religion? It gives people comfort. It doesn't hurt anything. Okay, well, other than most wars, the Crusades, the Inquisition, 9/11, arranged marriages to minors, blowing up girls' schools, the suppression of women and homosexuals, fatwas, ethnic cleansing, honor rape, human sacrifice, burning witches, suicide bombings, condoning slavery, and the systematic fucking of children. There's a few little things that I have a problem.
Who must know the way to make a proper home, a quiet home, a kosher home? Who must raise a family and run the home, so Papa's free to read the holy book?
Oh, you believe in God? You think there's a man in the sky? I'm nothing, but I am Jewish ethnically, and just in that it does ooze out of me, my pores.
Do you remember the worst sin you ever committed? Every sin is the same in God's sight. I mean, there is no such thing as a worse sin. Oh, really? If you wanted to find out which sin was the greatest, I would choose, if I were forced to choose, I would say idolatry, breaking the first commandment, thou shalt have no other gods before me. Really, that one bothers you the most? No, that doesn't bother me. That bothers the scriptures. It bothers God. Because all the way God was teaching Israel, all through the Old Testament, that there was one God, only one, that we're to serve and we're to worship.
Right, and that doesn't seem to you as, say, an egomaniacal position.
On God's part? On God's part. Oh, no, God is perfect.
Yeah. You know, it's funny, when I look in the mirror in the morning, it's hard for me to believe that.
Isaac had the nerve to say to me yesterday, he says to me on the air, Howard, you don't think there was an Abraham? You don't think that was a literal story? You don't think that he went up to a mountain, talked to God, and God told him to cut his son's penis in a covenant? And I go, no, I don't. No more than I believe that Scientologists are right or anybody else.
What do you believe in, Howard, really? I want to know what people
I believe in me, Yoko and me.
So
and that's reality.
What happens after you die, then, Howard?
How would I know what happens after you die, and how would you know?
Well,
you don't have a fucking clue, and neither do I. And anyone who says they do is full of shit.
Well,
these fucking psychics and all, they all should be thrown in jail, except even the guy who worked over Michael Jackson. Isaac, I gotta go. No offense. Listen to me. Trust me.
All right, then
I have extensive knowledge of religion. And after studying it for many, many years,
okay, then I
came to the conclusion that it was a huge waste of my time.
There was one negative article where somebody said, how can you make fun of your father-in-law's religion? You know, right. Which was ridiculous. I wasn't making fun of his religion. And even if I was, so what? You know, it's a comedy. Religion should be made fun of. It's quite ridiculous, isn't it? And you think how people spend their lives. Well, I have no idea that they go around as if this is a fact. It's so insane, you know. If I really believed that stuff, I'd keep it to myself. Let somebody think I was out of my mind.
This is the way it's done, not here, not now. Some things I will not, I cannot allow.
Harry Potter, we got an issue in America. Turns out to be an atheist. Oh, no. Not Harry Potter himself, but Daniel Radcliffe, of course, the actor who plays Harry Potter.
I can't believe it. We need to hang him.
What is it about space that fascinates you?
Oh, God, just the endlessness of it and the fact that every atom in our body was made in a dying star. That's pretty cool.
It's been, by one estimate, over 1,000 different gods throughout human history. Mars, god of war, Poseidon, Thor, all the rest. And the really important thing is that all of you, or almost all of you probably, are now atheists regarding those gods. Just the only difference is it's just one that we may disagree about. But 999, we all agree, have been thrown out. And the reason they've been thrown out is they've been buried by the rise of our physical understanding. Science works. And the fact that science works has buried the gods of the wind and the sun and the moon. Farmers now, as I was just saying, when it doesn't rain, they don't pray for rain anymore. They go see a meteorologist. And that's a good thing. In the process, the human condition has improved immensely, and it will continue to improve as science continues to bury the one remaining God. The point is that our current understanding of nature has changed. We've learned things. It's changed and developed since the claims were made by Iron Age peasants who didn't even know the Earth orbited the sun. And therefore, it's natural that science is inconsistent with those claims based on ignorance. And we shouldn't revere those ancient claims as sacred. They're ignorant.
And tear out my beard and uncover my head. Tradition.
Tell me why you were pleased, I think if I understood you correctly, pleased to find out that you are actually vestigially Jewish.
In other words, yes, on my mother's side of my family, there was a Jewish inheritance going back to
Mount Sinai.
I would say, I don't mean inheritance, I mean provenance, going back to Poland. And,
right. But what about it was pleasing to you to the extent that it was pleasing to a man who dislikes organized religion?
Well,
because I think this question has something to do with your sensitivity to anti-Semitism, anti-Judaism.
Yes, but hating the people who hate them is a duty, I think, that's incumbent on anybody, as it is, say, incumbent to hate people who hate Jamaicans or homosexuals. But I mean, it wouldn't have been, what I should say, why is it different from finding that I had Jamaican or homosexual identity? Well, in my case, it would be, I mean,
we were waiting for that.
Narrows, but, yeah. Well, and why it was pleasing to me? Well, because first anecdotally, I remember when I had a party once in Capitol Hill with my first wife, who's Greek, is Greek, where we thought we won't ask anyone who we just owe dinner to or anything. I mean, we can do that another time. Just have, for once, just the people we'd like to see. And when we were clearing up afterwards, she said, you know, it's interesting, almost all your best friends are Jewish, aren't they? And I thought about it, yes, actually, that does seem to be true. It has been true for quite a bit. The greatest influences on my political, ideological formation were Marx and Freud and Einstein. I don't think it's a coincidence.
You don't think it's a coincidence that
all
they
three
were
are
Jewish?
No, I don't. I can't make myself think it is. You said, with my attitude to organized religion, how could I be pleased? Well, the most post-religious group in the history of humanity so far, the most self-emancipated from religion, are the Jews, or is the Jewish people. The most significant scientific and philosophical and ideological underminers of the mad idea that we're a special creation, let alone that there is a special creation within humanity with one tribal name, are all Jews. That's, by the way, I think that's a Jewish duty. I mean, since the curse of monotheism was first inflicted on us by Jewish people, it's very good that it should be repudiated by them to such a great extent.
Why do you think Judaism is self-undermining in the way that you describe it?
Well, why aren't Jews drinkers?
Because they have to pay attention.
No, because it dulls the pain. Of course they've come up with a self-undermining exile, persecution, contempt, insecurity. You think we should not come up with a self-undermining and self-critical world outlook? Of course. What could be more likely?
I've been wanting to meet this man for a long time. Sam Harris. Sam. Finally. How you doing? I followed your work closely, as you know, and I'm so glad you're here. And you are a non-believer.
Yes.
And I know people are going to kill, oh, Bill, you're always having your non-believer friends on the show. I don't have that many friends who are non-believers. I wish I did. But when I have one, I like to first find out your background, your evolution. How did you get to that place? Because most people are raised religiously. So how did you get where you are? And what advice would you give to kids today who want to break into atheism?
Well, it's, I mean, I started there, and that's kind of the point. Unless
you did?
Yeah, unless you're indoctrinated at some point early on, it's kind of like smoking. You tend not to pick it up later in life. I mean, there are exceptions to that.
As a child, you were an atheist?
Well, I just was not. Atheism has no content. I mean, being an atheist is like being a non-astrologer. You know, no one gets taught to be a non-astrologer. You just don't get convinced by astrology.
So what were your parents?
They were secular. I mean, God was just not talked about in the house.
Oh, lucky you.
How are you? How's your life? How's your family? You have 2 kids, is that right?
I am. I can't complain. Got gorgeous, beautiful kids in my life. Actually, I can complain. Because what I didn't anticipate when I had these little babies with my wife was that there would be so much stress about where they're going to go to school.
Yeah.
They're getting to that age. The oldest one's 5, and it's kindergarten time. And there's this one, and you just want to make a good impression, and there's a Hebrew school that we really liked. And I feel a little hypocritical because I'm an atheist, you know, but it's a really good school. And I am a Jew, technically. You know, I'm allowed to take my kids there, and my wife is too, but also we've not been to synagogue for years, so I was kind of feeling the pressure to show that I'm a good Jew, and I was putting on a little bit of a show.
You were really? You were less
well,
than...
I was just saying, you know, I do have some experience with the high holy days and the Passover Seder, and they were saying, yeah, so what's Passover like at the home of the blacks? And we were like, yeah, it's good. We used my wife's grandfather's Haggadah, which is true. And I said, the only thing is it's missing that last song, the Chad Gadiad, which was my favorite as a kid. And, you know, and I sang a little bit of it for him, and it was really shameful. Because...
Were you kind of making it up, or was
No, it's legit.
It's legit.
But I was really playing it up, how into it I am. And as we were leaving, I was still singing a little bit of that last... Chad Gadiad, Chad Gadiad.
Traditions, traditions. Without our traditions, our lives would be as shaky as a fiddler on the roof.
The bottom line is this. If you sell the Vatican and you take that money and you use it to feed every single human being on the planet, you will get crazy pussy. All the pussy. And I don't mean literally. That might not be your cup of tea. I don't know what your version of all the pussy is. But you'll get all the pussy. Amen.